if only you're driving along and another driver shouts something at you. You idiot. But he doesn't say it like that. He doesn't. But when you sense then that comment and the energy behind it is like a blow, and it threatens, it shakes your form identity. And deep down, even if you know very well that this is a very unconscious person, deep down there's the little me says, maybe he's right. And immediately comes a reactive mechanism in order to repair the injury to your form identity. Because it's painful to the form to be injured. Not physically painful, but emotionally painful. And so you would shout something back, and that repairs that. Or you would simply, perhaps you're beyond shouting back, but in your mind you would be saying, you unconscious little worm. And that also works. You accept the isness of that noise. The mind no longer labels it. When you accept the isness, it is, and you begin to listen to it. And there's no longer a me that contracts and says no to it. You begin to listen to it without a no. Complete non-resistance, and you'll be very surprised what you feel suddenly. And even the noise might be transformed, and the pneumatic drill might be saying Om, Om. But it often looks as if life were giving you a challenge just to see if you can surrender. Especially you'll get it when you claim that now you have arrived. Occasionally people come to me, and I love it when they come, or they call and come and say, I am liberated now. I'm totally liberated. I know it. And it's wonderful. I love that. I don't say, oh, you're not right. They may well be right. But I often say, just wait. Let it... Give it a few months before you start writing a book about it. And then you love your neighbor as yourself. Your neighbor is everyone you meet. There are no conditions to that love. I will only love you if you become more conscious. And of course, Jesus said, if you love only those who do good to you, anybody can do that. I don't think that's the exact translation, but maybe you have already transcended all that.
There's the old lady, reminds me of that story. The pastor asks, I don't know if I can get it right, the pastor in church asks, let's all forgive our enemies, and is there anybody, okay, let's do it now. Is there anybody left here, then he asks, who has not forgiven their enemies? And an very old lady puts her hand up and says, why is that? Why haven't you forgiven them? She said, I have no enemies. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Look, please come up here and talk to us. This old lady here says she has no enemies. How is it then, the pastor asks, that you have no enemies? How did you do that? And she says, I outlived the bitches. And of course, that's not transcendence. If your mind pattern is one that loves complaining and finding fault with things, then it's very likely that very quickly this mind pattern will appear here also, despite the fact that you are in these wonderful, unusual surroundings. The first thing you might complain about is the dinosaurs. And the mind says, I'd rather see a big Buddha or something like that. Or the mind says, we've come here on a spiritual retreat, isn't there supposed to be a Buddha somewhere? But no, he said, make it your spiritual practice to say, thanks for everything, I've no complaint whatsoever, no matter what happens. But if you say it and mean it, when instead of being in a luxury hotel you find yourself penniless in the street, if you then say it and mean it, that will take you much deeper than being in a luxury hotel bed and saying, thanks for everything, I have no complaint whatsoever. That's relatively easy, although you might say, the pillow is not quite the way I want it. Nowhere to sleep, cold, wet. Thanks for everything. Thanks. That's a sarcastic thank you. Thanks, God. That's just what I needed. That's not the thanks. That's not it. Because many companies are still predominantly run by very big egos. I'm not saying that everybody here is entirely free of ego yet, but much less so than in many other places. So it's wonderful to be here, and if my book sales ever decline and I need a job, I hope you probably won't, but because first of all, I have no computer skills, and secondly, I'm too old, since the average age here is probably about 30. So your question was important. You don't need to find some kind of answer, abstract answer, or arrive at some kind of conclusion about relationships and then live the rest of your life on the basis of that mentally arrived at conclusion about relationships. The mind loves that. It says, I need to sort out in my mind what relationship is all about and whether it's still needed when I'm present. And once I have the answer to that, I can use that for the rest of my life and build my life on that. Or whatever it says, or I only have relationships with highly evolved beings. And that's another conclusion in your mind. And then you would look through every human being on the basis of that conclusion, which really is mind stuff, and says,
are you highly, sufficiently evolved for me? And probably not. They want some kind of concept to fit that into the meal. Is the meal a date or is it not a date? It's just a concept. We're having a meal together, that's all. Does this relationship have a future? No, of course not. There is no future. Well, good to be here. And now, on the screen that I have here, maybe it's a prompter, although I'm not going to read anything from it. It says the power of the present moment, a meditation. So that's what I'm supposed to do with you. Now, this is not a meditation where you need to go because sometimes the moment one says meditation, everybody goes. And people are in the grip of the stream of thinking. It pulls you along, amplified these days by the digital gadgets. We might be talking about that a little later. The grip of compulsive thinking, where one thing after another arises in your mind and you identify with everything that comes into your mind. Amplified, as I said, by the digital stuff, which want your attention, this is important, another email coming in, a text message. It must be important. Somebody just posted something on Facebook. And you see a photo of a dinner plate, having dinner at such a... And of course, then you have to reply and you say, cool, it's great. The difference between being absorbed in being identified with the voice in your head, which is habitual compulsive thinking, and being in a state of alert awareness, which looks like this. You don't have to look like that, I'm acting it out. Jesus had the same message. The kingdom of heaven does not come with signs to be perceived. What does that mean? It means you can never say, oh, there it is. Why can't you say, oh, there it is? Because you are it. It can never become an object in your consciousness because it is consciousness itself. And people have been repeating the words of Jesus for 2,000 years. Who has understood them? Very few, maybe one or two Buddhists. So, wonderful practice, meetings, and so on are great places. I can hear a phone ringing somewhere.
I think it's behind us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, this is the world we live in.
This is the world we live in.
Well, maybe it's my phone. No, it isn't. Time to take a selfie.
That's lovely.
And post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
This is me in, where are we? San Francisco.
What does it mean when the most present person on the planet says, where are we again? It means that you're in our conversation and in our conversation.
We are here. That's all we need to know.
That's lovely.
And then suddenly you remember, oh, I've lost the now. Where's the now? And now then the mind says,
there's no point in even looking for it now, because obviously you're not in a fit state to be at peace. And with all the problems going on around you, but there's just no point in even trying. Often you will hear thoughts like that your mind is telling you, not now, later. I haven't got the time to be present now.
As you might have noticed, it always takes a while before I start to speak. I often say it's good to start with a moment of stillness, and it is. But the main reason is that I don't know what to say. So you might be surprised if I tell you, even I'm a small guy, even if I'm standing next to a big muscular guy towering above me with a big ego. I'm not thinking of anybody in particular at the moment, but it has happened in the past. I don't feel inferior. It's just nor do I feel superior. I'm spirit. You might have a big body and muscles, but I'm the spiritual guy. Superficial happiness keeps you in the dream world for quite a while. It's not that bad. My life, I can't complain. It's not that bad. It's going okay. I'm quite happy. Just got a promotion. I'm so happy. I just got my annual bonus from my Wall Street bank. Great. I'm doing great. Yeah. So from there, the transcendence is not directly from Wall Street, probably not. But if you go from Wall Street to prison, then much easier.
This is by someone who is sleepless at night. My wife snores. My now at night is miserable. I have tried electronic gadgets and earplugs to no avail. How does one respond and not react? Signed, awake but only at night. P.S. I have tried your cold soup analogy. Sweetheart, would you please stop snoring? It doesn't work. The pain body is actually scanning your surroundings or other people's remarks in a conversation or reactions just to... And the moment somebody says something, are you accusing me of... No, I just asked if you had put the garbage out. Are you accusing me of being lazy? Are you saying to me I'm a liar? The cat is awake.
Just checking if everybody is present. And then you drink. And the taste is so incredible. It's water, it's amazing. It's liquid, alive, it's liquid. No, I haven't taken acid before coming here. And so that makes it even more difficult to deal with, because then you not only have your mind, you also have the collective mind comes at you through your iPhone and their Samsung, which hopefully doesn't explode in your face. But so, well, if it did explode, that would make you present. And it might suddenly break the addiction. Another way to tell is whether they've grown up with these things is how they type into their phones. I always admire the young people because they go like that at enormous speed with their thumbs. How they do it with their thumbs, I don't know. And they can even talk to you while they're doing it. And then I get a text message and somebody expects an answer who might not know that I'm not that fast, and then with the text message you can actually see that somebody is replying. You know that he's replying. And so they wait and say, why isn't he? So he's doing something. They don't know that I go like that. So it takes time. And that's a good thing, because it's easy to be present when you're not good at this. You can be much more present. Where's the bee? You're doing something, and internally you were complaining, but you have to do this job. Why do I have to do this? Why did I say yes to this? Why am I giving a ride to this person? Why did I say yes? So you're giving this person a ride who asked you for a ride, but you don't want to be doing it. It's awful. I should never have done that. And he has no manners. Why did he ask me? And he says, is something wrong with you? No, it's fine. I'm fine. I'm totally okay. I'm spiritual. You're standing in line at the airline counter. Why isn't it moving? These people are not trained, they're not doing their job. This person obviously is out to be unpleasant. I'll never fly with this airline again. And then there comes an announcement that not everybody can get on board. And you have been chosen not to get on board. Great opportunity for spiritual practice.
Do I have a bell here? It dissolved. I wanted to demonstrate how a sound comes into being and then goes out of existence, slowly fades out. But we have something even better. The entire bell has faded out of existence. Perhaps there'll be even more space than there's already. Already you consist of 99% empty space. Scientists know that. The atoms, the space between the atoms that make up your body is so vast that you are more than 99% empty space. In Zen Buddhism, they have satori. Satori is a sudden flash, a sudden realization. Not always lasting, but it's there, sometimes accompanied by shouting or laughter.
So when you look in the mirror, maybe you even apply makeup. They apply makeup to my face because I come on, because it looks too oily otherwise, apparently. And I noticed last night it actually does, because last night I didn't have makeup. I saw myself on the little screen. I said, I'm very shiny. And it wasn't the inner emanation of presence that was coming through. It was a different kind of shininess. In the depths of winter, I finally learned. Finally means he spent quite a long time in the depths of winter. I finally learned that there was in me, or maybe he said there is in me, because that is the timeless. If he didn't say is, he should have said is, would have been even better. I'm always surprised when I observe humans interacting. My initials are E.T., so I call them humans.